Welcome to Life Church Online. Our live streaming service will start in just a short moment, so please stay with us as we get ready to broadcast. We want you to know that we're excited for the opportunity God has given us to reach each one of you online today. We encourage you to worship with us and participate where you are. Lift your hands in praise and even sing along. We know that God will minister to you right where you are. So whether you're with your family, watching in your living room, or even driving and listening to the live service, we know that God is there with you. Let's stay in touch. If you're watching today, text us your attendance and all who's with you. Simply text us at 480-678-8037 and let us know you're with us today. We're practicing social distancing, but that doesn't mean that we become disconnected with the church family. In fact, now more than ever, it's important to make a point to join in as often as we can. Our student groups are continuing to meet every week online through interactive video conferences. If you're a student or if you're a parent who wants to help get their family connected, you're welcome to join in on the process. Our Elevate group for all junior high students and Ignite group for all senior high and college age students are meeting via Zoom conferences at 10 o'clock each Sunday morning. Let us know if you'd like the Zoom links and we'd be happy to share them with you. We even have something for our elementary age students too. Our Life Kids leaders prepare interactive lessons and activities that you can do with your kids right at home. Find out more about these groups and activities by visiting our website anytime at azlife.church. We also want to thank you for your financial support. You can give online anytime by visiting our website and clicking the Donate tab. There you will find various ways to give and our address if you prefer to mail in your donation. You can continue to be a blessing to the ministry through Life Church. And don't forget, we are broadcasting live every week during our regularly scheduled services. So that's Sunday 10 a.m. Adult Bible Class, Sunday 11 a.m. Worship Celebration, and Wednesday night 7 p.m. Midweek Worship and Bible Study. Thank you again for tuning in today. Our live streaming service will start in just a moment.
felt no words. don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. He is always there for you. He is always there for me. Thank God. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, there's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. No wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. I'm so thankful for His love. It's ever-reaching, so long-suffering. It comes after me, it comes after you. He is such a good, good, good Father to us. Thank you, Jesus. If we could just worship Him right now where you are, if you'll lift your hands up. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. You are a good, good Father to us. You are a good, good Father to us. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. And I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know searching for answers. Only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Sing it out. You are perfect. You are perfect in all of your ways. Yes, you are, Lord. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Sing it again. You are perfect. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Love so undeniable, I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable, I can hardly think, and you call me deeper still as you call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still in love, love. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. Who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are.
Thank you for joining with us tonight in this special midweek presentation and worship time. We'd like to hear from you. Our text number is 480-678-8037. Give us a text and let us know that you are participating tonight and watching this. You can also give online by going to our website, azlife.church. Click on the donate menu and it'll tell you all about it. We have something special starting tonight and for the next few weeks. We're going to be interviewing different members of the Life Church community, and we want to share their stories and just to let you know what God is doing among our church community. Tonight we're going to start, and we'll explain a little more about it, but my wife and I are going to join you on set. We're going to share our story with you And I pray that it's a blessing to you and you can anticipate hearing many wonderful stories in the coming weeks. Thank you for joining in with us today. Welcome to Your Stories, What God is Doing. And we are excited about launching this new series. What we're going to do in the next few weeks is share our stories in the Life Church community. It'll be a way of connecting with one another and learning more about some of the people in your church community. And if you are a guest, then you can learn about some of the people that attend this church, and maybe you'll want to come and join us. But today, we wanted to just kind of begin this series by just sharing our story. And my wife and I, here in the month of May, will be married for 41 years. It's hard to believe, especially since I'm only 42. But that's a standard joke. So that's a part of my story. But so we have a lot we could share, but what we want to share with you tonight is just kind of an overview of our stories, and each of the ones that come after us will be sharing maybe a little bit of their personal history, but then their experience with God and when they came to know the Lord, and then maybe some interesting things that have happened in life. So we look forward to sharing a lot of these stories with you throughout the next few weeks. But tonight we want to start with our story. And our story began in the last millennium. Yeah, it's hard to believe. But my wife was born in Idaho. I was born in Texas. So how did an Idahoan, is that what they call him, meet a Texan who was born in Texas, raised in Arkansas? So I was probably called an Arkie more than I was a Texan. But we get ahead of ourselves. My wife was a PK. She was a preacher's kid. So she can tell you a little bit about how that came about in her early days.
Well, my dad got the Holy Ghost and married my mom about 6 weeks later. And yeah, that's pretty scary. Don't let our daughters do that. But anyway, and he started pastoring his first church when I was 3 years old. And they had me a year later. So he'd only had the Holy Ghost about 4 years when he started pastoring his first church. And I was one of his first saints. So there you go. My sister was too. She was a newborn, Jolene. And we pastored in Pocatello, Idaho for, I say we, I probably did as much pastoring as my father did. But we pastored there for about 18 years. And of course, my dad cracked the whip, and we had to practice our instruments, and he made us into a band. We were a Bible singing bib family. Say that 5 times real fast. Bible singing bib family. And anyway, so us kids, we would practice every night after school, and he would say, practice for 10 minutes and then you can go play. And we thought that was great. 10 minutes, we'd go play. So we'd practice diligently for 10 minutes, and then we'd take off and go play. 10 minutes later, he's calling us back in. Come in and practice. And, you know, he did that about 6 times a night. And we got about an hour of practice in a night. Kind of ingenious for a dad, but anyway. So when I became a teenager, I decided to go to Bible college. And I went to Bible college. We were still practicing, getting ready to travel and do some fun stuff, but my mom and dad approved for me to go to Bible college. I went to Bible college in Portland, Oregon, Conquerors Bible College. Went there for 2 years, until my dad called me and said, you can make your decision. We're going to evangelize full time. We're going to take the band on the road. And he didn't have to ask me twice. I just thought that would be the most exciting adventure of a lifetime. So I didn't go back to Bible college for my third year, and we went traveling and evangelizing. And we traveled all over the northwest, western part of the United States. And we ended up playing for a Singspiration in Stockton, California. And that is where I first met the young, available, well, pretty much available evangelist, Terry R. Baughman.
We'll tell you more about that meeting. I was raised in Arkansas, I mentioned, and my grandfather, he had pastored in Fayetteville before I was born, Fayetteville, Arkansas. And then he came back to start a church in 1965 in Lincoln, Arkansas, which is about 20 miles away. And my family was living in Arkansas, and we went to help start that church in Lincoln, Arkansas, when I was 10 years old. So I don't have a ton of memories before those times, but we had some great experiences there as we started the church in Lincoln. And then my grandfather stayed there until my senior year, and he felt the burden to go evangelizing again, which he had done periodically throughout his life and ministry. I went to Bible school. I decided to go to Bible school. I was going to go to St. Paul, Minnesota, but we had an evangelist at our youth camp that year, Brother Kenneth Haney, and I got to talking to him about my plans to go to St. Paul, Minnesota. And before you know it, he had talked me in to going to Stockton, California. And so that fall, I went to Western Apostolic Bible College, which is now Christian Life College. And I was there for 4 years. And as my wife mentioned, her family came through and sang at a Singspiration. And I met her there. I know the rest of the story, but you don't. I was totally unimpressed because...
And so was I. We were both totally unimpressed.
Because she was with a dud.
And he was going out with a real jerk.
So we had kind of our opinions about each other from who we happened to be with at the time.
Which they were really nice people, but
Wonderful,
because,
yes.
You understand if they're watching this.
So after I graduated from Bible school, I started evangelizing. And let's see, I guess we could jump to the point where I came to Arizona. I had preached in Arizona a little bit, and I came back to Arizona. And that's when your family decided to venture out of the west and the northwest and go across the southwest. And so they had come to Arizona. Well, there was a local pastor's wife who decided that she wanted to help me out. And so she invited the Bibb family over for supper and the single evangelist over for supper so that we might get acquainted. What she didn't know was I'd already met them and was not interested. But being a single evangelist, I was interested in a free meal. So we went and had spaghetti. And this is where she was trying to get me connected with her sister. But her sister was infatuated with a young man from another church and spent the entire afternoon on the house phone. This was pre-cell phones. On the house phone talking to him, and showed me no interest at all, which I was fine with that. I was getting my free meal. But my wife now felt sorry for me, I think. And we started talking that night, and we've been talking ever since. Well, she has, but... So, We started conversing. They were in services, revival services in the West Valley, and I was at another church in Phoenix. And so each night after the revival service, I would go over to their service. And of course, by them doing this mini concert and then Brother Bibb preaching, they were always just getting going good by the time I got over there. But I went over for the fellowship, you understand. And we began to fellowship, got acquainted, spent some time there with the groups, went over to the pastor's house. One night, a bunch of us went to Denny's, fine dining at Denny's one night. And but that kind of got us through that, the awkwardness of that first encounter. And then we started liking each other. We started writing. Of course, this was before email, before texting, before cell phones, before a lot of things. But we did have U.S. Post Office. We could send cards and letters, and we did have telephones, but I'd have to use a payphone or a church office phone or somebody's extension phone in their house or something.
You may ask, how did he find me
Yeah.
when we were traveling? Well, we gave him our schedule.
Yes.
And so we just prayed that nobody canceled on us. So I prayed that no one canceled on us so that I could get all of his letters. But that's how he knew where I was. He had our schedule.
Just had to plan ahead, send the letters ahead.
Sometimes it would take weeks before I'd hear him the next
You know,
time.
we're really sounding old.
Yeah, it does sound old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did we have microwaves back then?
No.
We
They
are
came
old.
along. About the time we got married, I think, is when they come along.
We're old.
That's what my daughter asked one time. Back in the old days, did they have microwaves? I said, no, but that wasn't the old days. Yeah.
I think it was.
So, but regardless, we got acquainted. I changed my schedule a few times to, so I could see them or her especially. And we met up in Tulsa. They were singing in that area, and my parents came over from Arkansas and got to meet her, and she went over to our place. The Bibb family followed us over there with their motor home. So as a result, we continued talking like this for about 6 months, 7 months. And then I proposed after a fashion, and she didn't say no, so I just proceeded as though we were going to get married.
She didn't say yes either.
But she did agree to set the date. So
I did say I do.
she did say I do. So, and that was another 6 months. So really, by the time we really met, not counting the time in California, we had known each other a little over a year. But we were both mature. We were both 23, I guess, at the time. And so we got married around 24. We were 24 when we got married. I'm telling on her age, which I'm not supposed to do. But we went right into evangelizing. After our brief honeymoon, we went to Silver Dollar City. We went to Eureka Springs, where they have the Passion Play, Arkansas. And we went to Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, and of course, this was back in the days when Branson wasn't what it is today. They had, I think, 4 music groups, 4 or 5 music groups, and you've probably not heard of any of them. But it was back in those days. And then we went, our final destination, our honeymoon, was Dog Patch, USA. Now, that was something. But that's another story. And then, so we got in our pickup truck and our fifth wheel that I had purchased right in Mesa, as a matter of fact. And we took off on the road and went down to Texas and started preaching there. So that was 1979. And so we evangelized for about 4 years before taking a position as an assistant pastor and directing the choir in East Texas. We were there for about a year
before our first pastorate in West Texas, the thriving town of Canyon, Texas. And that was about 83 through 85. I learned a lot in those 2 years. I refer to it as my boot camp experience. But we had our second child there. We had our first in Arkansas while we were evangelizing. We stopped long enough to have a kid. And she was born in Fayetteville, 1981. And then our son was born in Canyon, Texas, which coincidentally is the same town I was born in a few years before, 30 years before. And so he was born there. So we pulled up stakes and went back on the evangelistic field and continued to travel church to church.
So we could eat. We did that so we could eat.
It was bad times in West Texas.
During the oil crash.
Yes, crash and burn in 83.
We survived.
Yeah. We did.
One thing that really helped me a lot during that time, it was a really difficult time. We lost our home. We had a lot of church members moved because they lost their jobs. But one thing, after we had our son, my husband would always say, we have our family. We're fixing to move out of our beautiful home into a van and travel. And he said, we have our family, and our family is healthy and strong. We've got a treasure here. We don't have to, worry. And that got me through that difficult time, is knowing that the most important things in our life was, each other and our children, and they were healthy, and we were rich, even though we had to go evangelizing so we could eat. But that really helped me get through those years there.
It was a real learning experience, and I think it's important. Somewhere, you have to learn to trust God. You have to learn that the most important things in life, when the material things are taken away, you have to resort to the eternal. And so we, really, God was with us through those times. Of course, it was a small church. I think there was 16 that voted us in, 16 voting members, and it went down from there. So, we left feeling like the end of the world, feeling like we'd been total failures. But as I look back now, I see how much we learned to depend on God through those times. And from that time to the present, we've never lacked. We haven't always had everything you want, but at the same time, God has always met our needs. And I'm amazed at how God has been so faithful through the years. But I think it was some of the things we learned in those early years. We both enjoyed music, loved music. Of course, my wife was raised in it, and so we felt like we had to record. So the year we got married, we recorded our first album in Laurel, Mississippi, with David and the Giants, the studio they had. And that was kind of the beginning of my musical career, which was less than illustrious. But my wife continued to write songs and has done music throughout the years. But from there, we began to seek God's direction about pastoring. We finally survived Canyon long enough to where we felt like we wanted to pastor again. And we looked at some opportunities. It seemed like every opportunity we looked at, the pastor decided to stay there. He was talking about leaving until we came, and then he decided to stay. So I got the message after a while that God was telling us, you're not supposed to be here. So we hadn't really considered starting a church until a few of those experiences. Then we began to think about areas where there was a need and where we'd like to start a church. Of course, in the meantime, through those years, my wife's family had settled here in Phoenix. Brother Bibb took the church in North Phoenix the same year that our daughter was born. So this kind of became a Western hub for us. And I've always loved the Phoenix area, and we began to look at the area and consider where we might start a church. That's when the opportunity came for us to go to Peoria. There was a man who had been there, had closed the church that he had. They didn't have a building or anything, but they had been having service. And they left that city and it made an opportunity for us to go to Peoria. So we started in our home in Peoria, and through Christmas for Christ, we were able to get some assistance through them, and we started that church in 1989, and we were there for 5 years. We saw it grow to a group of averaging over 50, and that church has gone on and done wonderful things, and a couple of other pastors that have taken it. So we're thankful for that. From there, we went to Stockton, California. We accepted a position there as the campus pastor, and of course that led to other things, became the dean of students, the academic dean, and ultimately the executive vice president. My wife finished her Bible school education there, got her degree in music. And
I was the oldest one in my class.
Well, they are all kids there.
But it was a really great experience. It was really great. I'm glad I went through and got my bachelor's.
Yeah, it gave her a lot of confidence to teach, and you know, even though she had taught for years, but just now she could feel like, well, I know what I'm talking about when I teach. But you did that. She also served as the academic assistant to me. And so we got to work together a lot during those years. Our kids went to school and some college there while we lived in Stockton.
I also had the opportunity to serve on the More to Life committee at headquarters with Sister Gwen Oakes. That was an amazing experience. We did the More to Life Bible studies and some other tools for women to evangelize and stuff. That was a really great experience. I got to do that for several years. And then also I was asked to serve on the Western District Ladies Board, and I served on that for about 8 years, and that was awesome. And the last year I was asked to be the secretary to Sister Mullings, which we're great friends. We cultivated a wonderful relationship in that working atmosphere, and that was what I was doing when we started the church there in Pleasanton.
Yeah, of course, while we were there at the school, my wife also started teaching some classes, and she wrote the Social Graces book while I was there. It grew out of some of those classes. We started writing books. We started trying new things. So it was a wonderful experience.
We did one project, musical project there.
Yeah, we did. That's right. We did our last musical project there with Glenn Woodward.
He did an exceptional job bringing out the best in us. We can't even hardly sing to the soundtracks anymore.
Yeah, it's a challenge. While we were there, though, we had that desire to pastor. So we began to look around and really felt God speak to us about starting a church in Pleasanton, California. And so it was about an hour from Stockton. So during the last 7, almost 8 years that we were in Stockton, of course we were there 15 years total, but we started a church in Pleasanton. We met at the Masonic Lodge there for a number of years and had church there and saw people come from the surrounding areas. Seemed like we never were able to get people from Pleasanton nailed down, but we had people that came from around the Bay Area, some close by, some from Livermore, and so it was a unique group that God brought together there, and we believe that God helped us to minister to some of those people that was there. So I guess along in there, of course, Brother and Sister Bibb had taken the church here in Gilbert after Brother Hampton, the founding pastor, had died with a heart attack. And they took it temporarily. And for several years, they were trying to get us to come and assume the pastorate here of this church. Well, at the time, we were very busy. We were involved with the college, with a church in Pleasanton. So we didn't feel like that we could do that. But in time, as we begin to feel God's leading, we resigned the church in Pleasanton. We also gave notice that we'd be leaving the church the college here in Stockton, the church in Stockton, and that we accepted the pastor of the church here in Gilbert in 2008. So it was 2009 before we got all the loose ends wrapped up to come. But her parents declared that they had heard from God, and I guess they had, because they were determined that we were going to take the church, and that temporary pastoring here turned into 8 years for them. And so at 78, Brother Bibb retired when we moved here to be here full time. But we have enjoyed our experience here. We've given you a quick overview of life experiences, but I think we just have to say that God has been faithful through the years. Now, we've seen a lot of people come and been added to our group. Of course, as all churches are, you have people come and go. But this has been a most rewarding experience, and now to be in this stage of life where we are building a new worship center and just seeing the blessing of God, and we are happy to be working for the Lord here.
I just wanted to share one little thing. We love Life Church. We love it here. This has been a wonderful journey for us. But one of a pastor and his wife that had been pastoring, and they were retired, and they'd been through some really hard things. And one night after a Wednesday night Bible study, she came up and she said, "I want to talk to you and Pastor." And so she called us together, and she said, "I just want you to know that that it's wonderful to come somewhere where you feel loved." And that just, I get really emotional just thinking about her saying that, And she turned to my husband and she goes, "I guess this is our dream church." And they'd pastored for many years, and yet they came here, and it was such a blessing to them. She told my husband, she said, "This is our dream church." And he just looked at her and he said, "Well, you know what?" He said, "It's my dream church too." And I thought that was such a great answer. And it's such a great way to express the way we feel about where we are right now. We feel like we're in the will of God. We are here because God brought us here. And He has just led us every step of the way. And He's going to continue to lead us. He's going to continue to bless us because we are children of His name. And that is who we are. And we're not going to back down away from that. We're going to hold the banner of truth high. And we're going to be a light in Gilbert.
Amen.
We're determined.
Man, she's getting excited. And we are. We're so thrilled that we are a part of this Life Church community. I can't wait to share some of the stories of this community. God is doing some amazing things and brings us in contact with such a diverse group of people. And as they begin to share their stories, you're going to be blessed. So every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, we'll be meeting here and sharing stories that God has been at work and is still at work, and He's going to be working in your life through this series. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you for being a part of this presentation tonight. We have more to come the following weeks. Each Wednesday night, we're going to have a couple of different interviews and presentations, and you're going to be blessed as you hear the stories of people that are all around you, but yet you have never had the opportunity to know their story. This is going to be a really special time. So don't miss it. Next week, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, we'll have another series of Your Stories. Look what God is doing.